Okay, now in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the files from your squeeze page template and we're going to upload them to your website. Now, you're going to notice that I have the directory here, dating for dudes. And the reason I have that directory is because this is a domain that I use in order to practice. Now, you are going to put everything into the root domain. Now, I'm going to create a directory for this. Okay, so just so you'll know, you're going to be doing this a little differently. Everything I'm going to be doing, you're going to be putting into the public dash or the public underscore HTML folder. I'm going to be putting it into the dating for dudes folder. So what I do there, you'll need to do in the public underscore HTML folder. Okay, so now that being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to take those files that I altered, and I use the squeeze page template. I mean, you've got a couple there. I used um, I use the ones that just say squeeze page templates, and you can do pretty much the same thing that I've done. Now, here's what I am going to do. Just for simplicity, I'm going to take all these files, and I'm just going to upload them to Dating for Dudes. Okay, and you can use um, any FTP software. Now, in this case, I'm using the FTP software FileZilla. Right, so you can use FileZilla also. So if you want to find FileZilla, I think that there's a link down there in your in your PDF. It's a free program. If you Google it, FileZilla, you'll be able to find it fairly easily. Okay, so now when I do that, sometimes it doesn't show up right away. So then I'll just click the file button so we can see it. Okay, so now all of the all the files are there. So now what you'll notice is now, I mean, you've got all these files here and they're sort of named something that the web will not recognize. And you really could stand to delete all the ones that you're not going to use. So what we're going to do is I'm going to change this one, which is the one that we saved, and I called it real so I'll know what it was. I'm going to change the name of that to index, right? And that will make it so that the web will recognize this as the page in that directory in order to um, pull up the file there. I'm going to actually delete these, right? Since I'm not going to be using them, they're on my hard drive. I'm going to take them off of my server. Okay, so now I've got everything there. I've got indexed page. I've got my images there. So now I'm really ready to go. So all I really need to do is we need to just test our URL to make sure it's looking right. So I'm going to test out my Dating for Dudes folder here. Okay, so you'll see my squeeze page here. It's now on the web. And one thing I don't really like, I don't necessarily like there there's too much of a gap here, and I don't like that. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take this out and I'm going to shorten this back to enter your email for free access, and I probably should not have added that. So I'm going to take those two things out and I'm going to take this out, and what we're going to do is then we will have, what I think is a more even squeeze page, and I think it'll be a little neater not having all this white space here at the bottom. So to do that, I'm going to go inside of my template here in Dreamweaver, and what we'll do is we'll take this additional information, we'll take this out. Okay, that's definitely one thing that we will do, and then what we'll probably do is we're going to take this image And I think we're gonna move that image, we're gonna move that image out. So let's just take that image out and see if we have a more even squeeze page here. Okay, so now we've got our this is a little more even. There's not as much white space at the bottom, so now we've got all our information here. Now, the only other thing that you want to pay attention to is you do have some essential pages down here. You have an earnings disclaimer, a terms and conditions, privacy policy, and you want to make sure that these terms are different. You want to change these things based on your being able to put some essential pages in there, and then once you do that, your squeeze page is going to be ready to go. So you are on the web, and you are now ready to start receiving uh, uh, visitors who are going to put their name and email address in here in order to get your free report, in order to start building your list. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video.